like even going back to Ghana and just seeing kind of like the whole culture around that, like they honor men, they honor women, they understand their positions. Like we went to the Ashanti kingdom, and they were like, the men were saying to us like, the Queen Mother is in charge, but we look like we're in charge, but she's in charge. She makes a decision. We fulfill the duties.
Sorry to cut you. Do you know what's really interesting about that? So my nan and my granddad, my mum's parents were together for I think 65 years or something like that. And my granddad got really sick towards the end, and I went to Gambia in 2017. No, 2007. And this is the year he passed away. And I remember we were all sitting on the porch, and she was singing to him and feeding him. He was non-verbal, everything, but she was singing to him and she was feeding him. And remember to that day, I remember when my granddad used to come here for treatment, and every day he's on the phone to my nan all the time. So I asked her, I said, how did you guys do this? I said, because we're struggling in our generation. That was way back there. I was like, how did you do it? Do you know what she said? She said, one thing we always remembered is he's the head of this house. Without him, this house doesn't function. He is ultimately the decider, the decision maker, and the head of this house. She said, but you know what I am? I'm the neck. Without the neck, the head doesn't move. And you see, that has been, I think that is my go-to understanding of partnership.
Well, it's like,
and I think that's missing.
Yeah, like the people, the roles that people play. So like when I went Ghana, it's a very simple act, but very powerful and poignant for me. So when I went Ghana, I met this random group of women who were just like, they were like, brony, like white man, hello, whatever. Obviously I got talking to them, I was like, I'm mixed race. So I've got a J, so I'm actually, oh, you're black man, okay. And then we got talking and stuff, and then I went to the restaurant the next day, and the lady said to me like, if you come the next day, I'll prepare you a pot. And so I said, yeah, I'll come, but I don't think she believed me. But I came back and they celebrated. It was like, right, he come back, like he's a man of his word. But what was really nice was that, so they were like washing my hands and stuff, and I was like, no. Because I had the UK mindset. Like, no, I don't want to wash my hands, because they had full on joy washing my hands and bringing me food. But where we've been conditioned here to think that this is like, oh, if you don't serve the man and all of this kind of crap, it's like,
Feminists have finished us.
It's crazy. But also we have to be honest, like, there's been this programming which has programmed black men to hate their own women, which you see, they will think that they can go to a white woman and get it easier, or whatever it is, it will be easy going until something starts to show.
I think that what I would class that as is, I think a lot of us, most of us, the majority, we've been poisoned with white inferiority, and that is basically when they condition you to have the white mind, to see the world via the white lens, right? A part of that sickness is brothers neglecting their women and going towards others. But if you're not really preying the programming and realizing that this program is there to fuck up your system, and it's going to make you sick and make you do things that show your sickness, like being with anyone other than a black woman, you ain't gonna know. And I said, preference. Preference, what is your preference? I never asked someone, what's your preference? Because I know you've been conditioned. If she ain't melanated as an African man.
And just to add to what you're saying, bro, like what I've observed as well is like rejection breeds rejection. So it'll be like, okay, we're like, we reject you, black woman, because we think we hate you, but we don't really,
Yeah,
but we think we do.
Yeah.
And what the black woman will do as well fuck you. So I'm gonna go white man, or I'm gonna go outside.
Now, yeah.
Although
100%.
I don't see it as much as
No, we
what
do
men
now.
doing it.
It's
Is
coming
it?
up.
I see that.
Mm.
Like, I see a lot more women kind of.
It's more common now. Like I remember 10 years ago, it was known around black men going with white women, but now there's a lot of black women going with white men. And I remember when I first became single, and I had a friend who literally told me, "I think you should." I said, "I think you should, and you should leave me alone." To be honest, but do you know what I mean? And I do think. I think everything boils back down to the plan, and I think the plan ultimately they understood that destruction of the black family will allow for everything else to run smoothly in terms of whatever the plan is.
It's funny.
And I think that's what's been, and I think that's what is going to continue to happen until, and I think somebody just said a minute ago about programming, like they've been conditioned.
Yeah.
I think it's beyond conditioning. I think conditioning is TV and that stuff. I think they've created the situation for them to have this image of black women. Because if you're at home with your mum and you don't have, your dad's not at home, or your dad is present but absent because he has to work 7,500 hours a month.
Organised
So
crime.
that you can, so when you see this black woman who then has to be mum and dad, that means she cannot authentically sit in her role as your mum. So she now has to be that bit harder. There's a power in when dad gets home, but if it's when mum gets home, the image of mum changes.
Yeah,
The image of black women changes, and it affects both across the board. Because actually, what you also then have is the girl side. So when you've got the boy side, we know what that brings when the boys don't have a dad at home. What we ignore a lot is what happens when the girls don't have dads at home.
Yeah, they start to.
They
have
become the
relationships.
strong black woman. Forget the relationships. They become the strong black woman. They embed.
Don't
this
forget the
need.
relationships.
Don't forget the relationship. But what because the innate need to be this super independent.
Yeah.
To have you're a bit colder.
Yeah.
You have a standoffish persona. But actually, all you want is to be nurtured and to be loved and to be looked after and to be supported. And you have added to that Beyonce telling you, all my single ladies, let's do 50-50. While she goes home and serves her husband, I promise you. Then you have the narrative of being submissive is wrong. You are mad. You are. I think the world is absolutely mad the moment we said we're not going to serve each other. Because we're meant to serve each other. And whether that looks like you're serving me in terms of making sure I have a roof over my head and I have electricity and I'm protected and I'm safe, and I'm serving you by I'm washing your hands and your food's on the table and your children are clean, it's service.
There's nothing wrong
We're
with it.
human.
either.
There is
I don't understand how we've got to this place.
Why
of
do we want to
moralistic
work
judgment
this hard?
around service?
I don't understand why we want to make something that was so simplified so difficult.
That's
That's
what
how
they
I
do,
feel that's happening.